Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. I'm your host, Randy Sharman. According to a new study from Flight Centre Canada, 82% of Canadian travelers say they have faced some form of travel disruption, whether it be in the form of flight delays or lost luggage. So in a few seconds, travel expert Onanta Forbes will join me to talk about those travel disruptions. Plus, travel writer Debra Smith will join us to share her review of the St Regis Hotel in Chicago. And Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions will be along with a few destination ideas and travel deals with our weekly roundup. But first, let's kick things off chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to discuss some of the travel news and travel trends. You can follow her adventures on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Hi, Onanta.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. We're going to talk about this survey from Flight Centre Canada, talking about disruptions, travel disruptions. Interesting survey, some interesting findings saying that 82% of Canadian travelers have faced some form of travel disruption. That is an extremely high number. And we're going to dive into, flight delays, delayed luggage. This is what they're talking about when they define travel disruption. It's flight delay, lost or delayed luggage, flight cancellations, missed connections, flight changes due to overbooking, accommodation changes due to overbooking, and refusal of departure. Does it seem like a high number to you?
No, actually, I think it's actually pretty realistic in today's world of travel. There's so many things that can impact your journey. It could be a ripple effect, from a flight delay from another carrier, or not even another carrier, the carrier that's, coming in to take you to a different destination. So I think you hear more and more about the challenges that you can incur. So it's always good to be prepared. And there's lots of things you can do yourselves as a traveler, working with your travel agent in preparing for such things.
That is very true. And we're going to discuss some of those things. Let's talk about flight delays. I guess it depends on the delay. Like, I was thinking back of how the airlines define a delay, and you see these on-time records all the time. The best airline with the best on-time record, how they define on-time is within 15 minutes. So if they're within 15 minutes of their scheduled arrival time, they're on time. Meaning, if they're 16 minutes, they're late. But, like a 20-minute delay or a half-hour delay, maybe even an hour delay, isn't really that inconvenient. If you're talking about 4 or 5 hours and you're sitting on the tarmac, that's a whole other story, right? So it depends on the degree of the delay, right?
Right. And that's exactly it. And with regards to delays, we were talking about it previously. If you have a connection, you can actually, maybe think about making that connection more than what they deem as a legal connecting time, depending on the destination, because it does vary based on domestic and international flights as well. So for an example, if you're going on a long haul trip to Australia, we know that Air Canada has nonstop flights, Vancouver to Sydney. But getting from Calgary, do you really want to miss that long haul flight? So maybe you should have more than 2 hours. So there's things like that you can factor in when you're making your flight arrangements. For example, if you're going on a cruise or a tour, go in the day before, just because there could be that flight delay or cancellation of flight.
Yeah, exactly. And, 63% of people say they've experienced flight delays. I have too. It was a half hour. I remember it was in Vancouver, and it wasn't really a big deal. But yeah, when you're talking about missed connections, 25% of people miss their connection, and we don't know the reason why, but leaving yourself a larger window for error certainly would help in making sure you don't miss that connection. Like some people, they'll have an hour between flights, and if depending on the size of the airport, you may be running after your connection.
And and it also has ripple effects too. Like, say your flight is delayed. We had clients that were coming home from Portugal. Their flight from Lisbon to Montreal was delayed, so they missed their connecting flight that they were originally scheduled on. They were booked in premium economy, but the thing is, they didn't get the first available flight that they got home, and that flight that they did get, they had no premium economy left. So you're now in economy class. So not only are your flight times affected, but it could also affect your class of service that you originally were booked in.
Yeah, good point. I never thought of that either. And yes, you have no control over the first flight. If it's delayed, then that really backs you up. So yeah, rule of thumb, give yourself lots of time between connections. Flight cancellations, 28% say that they're involved in flight cancellations. There isn't really too much you can do about that, especially when weather has a factor in a lot of it.
Right. And we're now in hurricane season in the Caribbean. So it affects, a lot of destinations that could be onward travel does occur, such as Florida, where a lot of cruises depart from. People, it's funny. People don't think you're going to Cancun during summer, but it's amazing how many people do go because they want to get married there. It's a huge wedding destination and group destination. So it not could just affect you, but affect plans. So like if you're booking your wedding, don't do it maybe the second or the third day. Do it midweek or however long that you're staying, that you have a few days to recover from any flight delays or reroutings that occur. So always try to think ahead with regards to, you don't want to think worst case scenarios, but you also don't want to stress yourself out with having to deal with, especially if you're going to a very important event like your wedding, having to worry about missing it, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
And another one is 37% of people said they lost or delayed luggage. I've only had this happen to me once. It wasn't really a big deal. So again, when you say you don't want to assume the worst, or I think if you plan for the worst, then you're not affected as much. And so, yeah, any necessary items that you may need, or just a simple change of clothes you can put in your carry-on, would be something to tide you over if they lose your luggage.
I think that's the best idea ever because, you have your toiletries, make sure you always have your medication, right? But also, yeah, you don't want to live in the same clothes 2 or 3 days. So I think always take a good change of clothes. Like you don't want to be bogged down by lots of clothes, but, good to have that extra set just in case there's something that goes awry. And also, yes, it could be lost or delayed luggage, but there's also a situation that we've encountered where somebody thinks your luggage is their luggage and they take it. So you have to wait for it to come back to the airport. So it's not just lost or delayed. It's somebody not checking your tags on your bags. And also that really is another point, is make sure that you are well identified on your bags, whether it's those frilly pink ribbons that you see people have, or just, lots of different places where your name is identified so that people because there's lots of blue bags out there, right? And there's lots of black bags out there. So there's always something that could happen. So like you say, be prepared, right? Because you just don't want to be in that state of anxiousness. That's the worst thing that could happen with regards to that. And and as far as when you get to your accommodation, looking at this survey, there could be a change due to overbooking. 10% say that could happen. So again, I think as a traveler today, you have to be flexible and open and be patient because there's so many factors that can influence your journey.
And overriding all of this is travel insurance, which we talk about so many times on this show, and we won't get into it. But travel insurance covers a lot of these issues, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that is it. It's peace of mind to have it. There's some insurances, flight accident, that are included in some of your anything that has a cancellation component in your insurance, and that kicks in after a 4-hour delay. So that will help you with meal costs. It depends on how long you're delayed for, and depends on the coverage of that particular travel insurance provider. But I always think insurance is peace of mind. It protects you. It protects your investment, and it's something definitely to consider. I know people think that they're covered through their credit card or through their work coverage, which is fine, but just make sure you know the terms and conditions and the limitations and the benefits so that you're not caught
Mm-hmm.
off guard as well. And it also comes into play. You have to pay with that credit card to get that credit card insurance, right? You just can't
Yes.
assume that it's going to cover you if you have like a frequent flyer ticket and such that you didn't pay for like you paid for it with points. You still should get insurance
Yeah.
because you're not covered, right?
Very true. Always
Mm-hmm.
great advice, always good tips, and always good to chat with you. Onanta Forbes is a travel expert. You can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Good chatting with you, Onanta. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, one of our regular guests to the podcast is travel writer Debra Smith, who is always kind enough to join us to share her experiences staying at some of the most luxurious hotels around the world. And Debra was recently in Chicago, staying at the St Regis Hotel in Chicago, and she wrote about it on her website, wheretolady.com. And Debra is here now to tell us more about it. Hi, Debra.
Hi, Randy. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Let's talk about the St. Regis Chicago. This is part of the Marriott brand, so people can check it out at the Marriott website, Marriott.com. They can also find your review on your website, wheretolady.com. But tell me, let's start with location. Actually, on your website, wheretolady.com, there's a nice picture of you with the Chicago logo there. I'm assuming that's at the airport.
No, actually, that's at the Skywalk in Chicago. That
Okay.
Chicago is so famous for their tall buildings. They have more than one place where you can go now and get a really good observation level view of the city, and it's beautiful to take advantage of those. And some of them have terrific information on the way, and that was one of them. So, yeah.
Well, it's a nice picture either way. Let's
Thank
talk
you.
about location then. Where
Okay.
is the St. Regis Chicago? I understand it's a pretty tall building. You can't miss it.
Yeah, you really can't miss it. It's 101 stories tall. It's the third tallest building in Chicago right now, and it's the tallest building in the world that's designed by a woman, Jeannie Gang of Studio Gang Architects. Right now, it's in an interesting place. It's the first new build in what's called the Lakeshore East area, and that's right where the Chicago River goes into Lake Michigan. So you'll find it featured on all the architectural tours that you would take, of course, because it's so notable. And that's where it is. It's to get to it, you actually it has a cul-de-sac, and it's right at the end of that little Lakeshore East area. So you drive up there, and there's a little keyhole turnaround, and then you're at the hotel.
Nice. Now, do they offer shuttle service from the airport, or are you just kind of on your own?
Oh, no, you got to find your own way there.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. They're actually they have a town car service, which is sort of first come first serve for a limited area once you arrive, but you're on your own to find your way there.
One of the interesting things I found in Los Angeles staying at a skyscraper hotel is just the floor that we were on, the 60th floor. The views are amazing. So what floor were you on?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Actually, at the St. Regis Chicago, there's only the hotel itself only occupies the first 11 stories, unfortunately. So, because the rest of them, floors 11 to 97, are all residential.
Oh,
So, yeah,
interesting.
so the hotel itself only goes up to the 11th floor. But that being said, you can really take advantage of the views as well because they have a beautiful restaurant on the 11th floor called Maru, which is Japanese inspired. And it
Hmm.
has two, not one, but two huge decks that overlook the Chicago River and that also overlook Navy Pier. So I don't know if have you been to Chicago
I have not,
lately?
no. I've
Oh,
been to
okay.
the airport. That's it. It doesn't
Oh,
count.
okay. Oh, well, the airport's pretty cool too, I must say. But yeah, Navy Pier is an entertainment area, and I believe it's Wednesday and Saturday nights, they have free fireworks, which is interesting, like right at the pier. And if you're staying at the St. Regis Chicago, you can go out to Miru and have a cocktail. And you can, if the weather is pleasant, you can go out onto either deck. And if it isn't, you can stay inside and you can see the fireworks right from the hotel. And also, depending on which side of the hotel your room is on, you can also see those when they're on. And they're free. And it's really
Cool.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So now tell me about the rooms and just in general, the overall appeal that you found of the St. Regis in Chicago.
Well, it's a very interesting building. I'd sort of like to talk about that just a bit because it gives you an idea of the space. It's what's called a super tall. So it's made up of three towers, the third tallest building in Chicago, and the tallest in the world, designed by a woman. And it's right next to her other one, which is also the second tallest in the world, designed by a woman. So it's crazy. But you know, these super tall buildings are getting really popular now in New York. And this one in Chicago, she took her inspiration from something called a shape called a frustrum. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but if you can imagine or think back to those old fashioned red and white popcorn boxes you used to get at the movies,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember those?
Yes.
Okay, that is a frustrum.
Uh,
And her idea, which is such a fun idea, was to turn one facing upwards and the other one facing down. Are you with me?
yeah.
So we've kind of got a shape that's kind of going out a bit and in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And all along the tower, it sort of undulates up. At the distance it goes out is only about 5 inches. But on that building, they've also used about 7 different kinds of glass. So that really what you're looking at there, it almost looks like a wave, or it reminds you of the reflections of the river that it's up standing next to. So it's really a beautiful, cool building to look at.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you get there and you go in, oh, pardon me, I'm sorry. When you get there and you enter into the lobby, of course, the lobby is a soaring lobby because it's 2 stories high. It's long and narrow, which sort of reflects the building that you're in. But it's all marble, of course. It's very luxurious and elegant. And you walk in, and you're greeted at a reception desk, which is long and a bit low, so it makes the ceiling seem even taller. And then right next to you, there's the concierge desk, of course, and they're more than happy to help you with anything that you need. You go in, there's the elevator banks, which are also double high. So there's this impression of height all through the rooms, the hotel, the dining areas, the public areas, which are incredible. Um, it's very luxurious and very sophisticated.
Mm-hmm. Sounds it. What's the neighborhood like now? If I step out the door, what am I going to find? Are things
Well, if you
within walking distance, or is it
one thing
located well?
Well, one thing I'll tell you, if you step out the door, you're going to walk into a lot of traffic. and and the reason for that, of course, is because it's on a cul-de-sac and everybody's coming and going and trying to drop off and all that sort of type of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only downfall that I found was that, if you have to hail an Uber, you may have to walk a ways, plan if you're going somewhere, if you're going to an event like we were when we were there, you want to make sure you're out the door in plenty of time. But the location is really good because, as I mentioned, it's right on the river, so you're close to the river walk, which is beautiful. Now they've extended it, and it's just lovely to walk along the river with all the restaurants and the art. You're within walking distance just across the bridge of the Magnificent Mile. As I mentioned, you're close to Navy Pier, Millennium Park, the Art Institute of Chicago, all within walking distance. So the location is excellent.
Nice. So are the rooms designed mostly for couples, or would they be able to accommodate a family of 4, for example? Who
Oh,
would be the ideal
absolutely.
client?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I would say they're very family friendly. They've got milk and cookies for the kids when they come, and
Nice.
they're pet friendly as well. The pets get their own lovely beds and bowls and all that type of thing. One interesting thing about it is it's actually backs onto something. On the front is a river. On the back is something called Lakeshore East Park, which
Hmm.
is a 6-acre green space with ornamental gardens and walking paths, and it's dog friendly. So it's perfect if people are actually traveling with their pets. That's great. And kids will love it too because they have a beautiful pool there as well. And an interesting thing about their pool, if I might mention, is that it has sliding doors. So when the weather's bad, they just slide the doors closed. They're big glass doors, of
Oh,
course. So you
nice.
still have the view, but the weather is on the outside. As you know, in Chicago, it can get pretty hairy sometimes. But then when the weather's nice, they open them up and there's an extra terrace and it's quite lovely.
I was going to ask if it was indoor or outdoor, but that
Yeah,
answers it. It's both.
it's different, I haven't actually seen that before. That they can convert it from indoor to outdoor, and the
Hmm.
rooms themselves are lovely. They're a great size. They start about 400 square feet, about 36 square meters, and they go up and up and up. Those are just the basic rooms. But then when you get into the suites, well, you're talking huge.
Hmm.
We're looking at say a basic one would start off at around 500 square feet, about 45 square meters. And when you get up to the John Jacob Astor Suite, of course, which is one of their premier suites, you're looking at about 1,500 square feet, about
Wow.
133 square meters. That, of course, that has a private kitchen,
Yeah.
view of the riverfront, floor-to-ceiling windows. And the presidential suite, I must tell you about this because it's unbelievable, 4,600 square feet.
Oh my gosh.
427 square meters, 2 separate living areas, kitchen, dining room, all the rest of it. A personal fitness studio.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
oh yes, it's
Yeah. The
quite
height
something.
of luxury.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
what about the restaurants on site? Or what are they like?
Yeah, they're great actually. There's 2 of them, and they're very different. There's Tre Dita on the second floor, and that one is influenced by cuisine from Florence. So you're looking at pastas and steaks, and actually, Tre Dita stands for 3 fingers, which is the thickness of the steaks that you get in Florence. They're like
Oh
very,
my.
very thick steaks. They have a um, double height dining room, which is enormous, and a beautiful bar. They have an open kitchen, and they also have something called a pasta lab, where it's climate controlled and you can watch them making their fresh daily pasta. They pride themselves on coming up with new and unique pasta shapes. So it's
Very
kind of cool
nice.
for that. Their other restaurant, which is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is called Maru. That's on the 11th floor. That's the one that has the 2 terraces with the great views. And that's Japanese inspired. But they have, a menu, a wide ranging menu as well.
Very nice. Anything else you want to add I might have missed?
Strangely and wonderfully, there's no resort fee. And that's always great. The Wi-Fi is complimentary. And yeah, it's just a wonderful place to stay. I loved it. It had a great atmosphere. Yeah.
Nice. Well, no resort fee. I like that too.
Mhm.
People can find out more about the St. Regis Chicago on Debra's website, wheretolady.com. Always great to chat, Debra. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Randy. It was great.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me, too, with any questions you might have. My email address is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you want to get up-to-date travel info through the week or just see a few amusing travel stories and links, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/informedtraveler, on Instagram at Informed Traveler, or you can follow me on X at Informed Traveler. So now, as always, we'll like to end the show with our weekly roundup, and joining us to do that is Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions. Good day, sir.
Hello, Randy. Hello, everyone. And, I was supposed to be talking to you from sunny Florida, where I was going to be at our annual Travel Savers Conference at the wonderful JW Marriott San Marco. But Helene decided to show up, and a decision was made because of the weather and the possibilities to cancel it. So I am at home.
Well, I'm glad you're at home and not in Florida, and at least they decided to cancel it early enough that you didn't have to make the trip and then be stuck in Florida.
Shout out to myself for being smart enough to have travel insurance. So I was able to recover the costs for my flights and the hotels and a few other incidentals that I had prepaid that were non-refundable. So again,
excellent
reminder: take travel insurance. You never know.
Listening to your own advice. That's pretty good.
This was an interesting one that I didn't know, and apparently it's been in effect for a little bit of a while now. We got an email the week that Mexican Customs now, and the way they quoted it, is serious about keeping your gadget game in check. So you're allowed just one tax-exempt portable computing device per person. So one laptop or one iPad or tablet. Among other items, you're also restricted to 2 cameras or camcorders, 3 cell phones, 1 GPS, 2 musical instruments, 1 pair of binoculars, and 1 set of portable speakers. Some other limitations they're implementing, because apparently, in other words, if you're not sure, go online or check before you go down there just to make sure. They recounted one of their friends could be paying a tax. He took down, he had 2. He had an iPad as well as a laptop, and his choice was to pay the tax or leave it with Mexico, with customs. And again, he had to pay $190 to bring it in and keep his laptop with him.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah. So apparently they charge you what the tax and everything would be on what the value of your machine is worth. So if you've got an expensive laptop and you're using a small iPad or whatever.
Yeah. For $190,
so again,
you could probably get a new iPad.
And again, this is something that I wasn't aware of. I hadn't seen anything or whatever until they got this email, and it came from one of the transfer companies. Because I guess they had some issues where clients were, late for their transfers because they were dealing with all of this stuff. So they thought it pertinent to let us all know. I'm glad they did.
Yeah. Because, you'd probably think, well, who has all that equipment? Well, a lot of people have all that equipment, like especially a laptop and an iPad, right?
Well, especially in the kind of fall, winter, early spring season, a lot of people, are going to do the work from home and maybe going down for a couple of months. So, you're going to have maybe 2 or 3 things or whatever. So, and again, it doesn't say that you have to claim it. So it's the old story of, if they search you and you find it, be prepared to pay the tax.
Yeah, exactly. And, if they're going to get tax dollars from it, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to be looking for it.
Exactly.
So
either that or they're going to have...
good to know. That's per person, right?
Person,
so
right? Yeah, not total. So so you can each allow that. That's per person. So again, if you're not 100% sure, just jump onto the Mexican government site. It's all listed there, and be careful.
Good to know. Yeah. Okay.
Embassy Cruises was in town this week for a visit and a presentation about all that they have to offer. I did realize they're one of the 3rd largest cruise lines, and they've been around for 300 years as a company. They started out as cargo ships and everything way back in the day, in the sailing days, and they're still doing that now, as well as jumping into the cruise market and doing a really, really good job. They're most popular over in Europe. but have
Hmm.
sailings all over the world like the other cruise lines. So you can, jump on in Miami. You can go over in Asia. They're all kind of different things. The one neat thing with them is you do not have to earn your way up on your status. So kind of like frequent flyer miles, where like with WestJet you can be, the bronze, silver, gold, everything like that. Cruise lines do the same
Hmm.
thing. They will do a status match for you if you want to try and
Oh.
sail on one of their ships. So, example, I have clients that are trying their first one. Um, they're elite with Princess, and so they are Diamond, which is the highest package that you can get with MSC. So they're getting all the access to all the different perks and everything that are on board. They also have an excellent stay and play program on a number of cruises where you can stay for an extra couple of days, either pre or post, as part of your package. And that includes
Hmm.
all your transfers from the airport to the hotel to the ship, or from the ship to the hotel to the airport. And again, so they're really worth checking out because they have some really great prices a lot of the times too. So
What a
again,
great
let's have a
idea.
conversation and see if we can put you on one of the ships.
Yeah, what a great idea. What better way to get someone that's used to sailing on Princess, for example, like you're saying, and try out a new product by honoring their point system, hey?
Exactly. And even if you're a first time cruiser, they're also matching hotel statuses. So if you're, major with Marriott or
Hmm.
Hyatt or one of these guys, they'll match them as well. You just have to send them proof that you've got it, and they'll match it.
I think that's a great idea on their part.
Exactly. All inclusive luxury voyage about Polgogan on your radar there. Small ship experience in the islands of Tahiti, private balconies, all kinds of unique itineraries, more ports of call than any of the other luxury cruise lines that are exploring the French Polynesia. Cruise packages include your round trip flights from LAX, Los Angeles. You got gourmet dining and room service all included, beverages included, Wi-Fi, a day on their private islet, a day on their private beach in Bora Bora for your wife. Uh,
Woo!
Use of all the water sports and equipment right from the back of the ship. And right now they've got bonus savings up to 30% so that you can experience your overwater bungalow that just sails along.
Very nice. Sounds great.
Star Clippers, true sailing ships where you can hoist the sails, climb the crow's nest, steer the ship, or like many of us, we'll just sit on the deck with a beverage and enjoy the breeze as we're sailing along to the exciting ports around the world. A lot of these are ports that a lot of the large cruise lines cannot take you to, so it's a great opportunity where you don't have all the crowds and still seeing some great examples of the culture and cities of the area that you're in. Bring the family or leave them all behind and just sail yourselves, but if you really want to bring the kids, right now is a good time to go. 50% off for selected dates, and your children could be as old as 17, so that's a great saving if you're going as a family.
Yes,
Usually
it
once you get over that
is.
12, they're
Yeah,
considered
that's right.
adults and pay a lot more.
Yeah, usually 12 is the marker, but yeah, that's awesome.
Golf season is winding down. Didn't get enough rounds in myself. So just a reminder, we've got packages, or we can build you a package. Maybe you want to jump over to the UK. They've got great courses in Scotland, Wales, maybe a long stay in Portugal, include some golf in there, Thailand. Gary can set you up. They've got great weather and great prices over there for the fall and winter season to keep that game up. One example we had come out is Portugal golf package, 21 days, one bedroom apartment, car rental, unlimited golf at 5 different courses, all from 35.10 Canadian per person. And we also have packages for the Phoenix Open in 2025 and the Ryder Cup in 2025 being held in Long Island. And if you're taking in the Ryder Cup, you can always jump on a cruise from there and tie in a few days in New York and have a great opportunity for a great vacation.
Yeah, why not? That'd be a fun experience.
Winter's coming, no stopping here. And we've also been talking about long stays, which we just mentioned, which are becoming more and more popular abroad, especially with the difference in the higher prices in the USA for the usual snowbirds. Our partners over at Preference Vacation sent us an email this week. We got 28 days in Costa del Sol in Spain. Direct flight from Montreal, but we can do the add-on from Calgary real easy. Includes your round-trip transfers. You're staying at the Seafront Hotel Sol Principe with breakfast and dinner daily, starting at only $33.99 per person. So, again, if we take out the airfare and the transfers, your accommodations and 2 meals are coming in less than $100 a person a day, and you're not
Isn't that
hanging out in
amazing?
cold or snow.
Yeah, that's just amazing. It's almost like an all-inclusive, right? When you're talking about
Almost,
breakfast
yeah.
and dinner, yeah, yeah.
Got a large family, maybe between your brother or sister's family combined, you're 10 plus people. I know your family and my family easily make a group. Ask your friendly travel agent if they should be looking at a group rate. Lots of multi-generational family travel now that includes 10 plus people, so very easy to find. Or maybe it's 10 or more of your favorite friends or couples that you and been spending some time with. Maybe we're going to do that golf trip over to Scotland. And it doesn't matter if you're all golfers or not. It can be any type of trip, all inclusive. A cruise, maybe adventure travel like Costa Rica or Africa, river cruise, Europe with a boat trip. If you got an idea, give us a shout and we'll see if we can do a group rate for you. And a lot of times, depending on the supplier, we can actually do these for your specific dates just for you guys. So ask your agent
Nice,
if you
yeah.
qualify. And I know it wasn't me, but if you won the lottery last night or just need some professional help with your travel plans, Crowfoot Travel Solutions has been probably serving Calgary in the area for over 25 years now. So we've got you looked after no matter how small or how big your travel plans are, so you can relax. It's all taken care of.
Excellent. And what is that number if people want to give you a call?
If you're in Calgary, you can call us at 403-241-7140. And outside Calgary, we've got a toll-free number, 1-877-511-5511. Relax. It's all taken care of.
Indeed, sir.
Have a great week, everyone.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.